Hello class, this is your teacher Mr. McDougall with your next Premiere Pro tutorial. In this one we are going to create a sequence that fits a social media story. We're going to make it 9:16 aspect ratio, which means we're going to make it vertical so it'll fit on a social media story for Instagram or TikTok or any of the other ones. So download today's exercise files, open them up into a new project into Premiere Pro with all of your files, and let's get started. Pause the video now if you have to get to that point. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new sequence from scratch because we want to create the specific vertical settings. What normally happens when you put a video onto your timeline, it will create the sequence based on whatever the first video clip is. So say for example I take one of these clips like this computer one. If I take this clip and put it on the timeline, it makes a clip that looks like this. That is this normal standard aspect ratio, which is long ways horizontal left to right, and then shorter up and down, like if you turn your phone sideways. So that's the default, but I'm going to Control Z because I don't want to do that. We're going to create a new settings first. So the first thing we're going to do is go up to File, New, and then Sequence. When you do that, it's going to ask you how do you want to customize your sequence. Don't worry about all these numbers and all this stuff you're going to see. It's fine. The only thing you need to worry about is going to Settings, and this part right here that says frame size. Ignore everything else, leave everything else the way it is, but where it says frame size, this is the only part we're going to change. So typically, by default, as I just mentioned, it's 16:9, which is the normal computer screen size you're seeing right now. We just need to switch these two numbers so it becomes 9:16 and it becomes vertical. So this one is 1920 and this one is 1080. We're just going to type in the opposite. So right here, highlight this one. This one will be 1080. And this one will be 1920. So we switch them. So you see now that we've switched them, instead of saying 16:9, it says 9:16. So once you've done that, click OK. And now you can see we have a vertical video like this. So this is the size of your screen on your phone. When you're looking at a story, it's going to be like this. So when we export our video, I know it will fit perfectly for a story. So we're actually going to start with the audio for this one. This promo that we're doing for social media is going to be just me talking for the audio, and we're going to put these cool random B-roll clips on it. So let's take our audio clip. This will be the first time we're dealing with audio, so let me explain how that works. We're going to take audio. Audio can only go on the bottom half on this A track. You see, if I try to put it up here, nothing happens because there's no video. It only goes to audio, so that's going to go right there. And it's only about 15 to 16 seconds long, as you can see right here. 16 seconds, that's as long as our video clip is going to be. So if I play the audio right now, let's see how it sounds.
Hey now, Mr. McDougall here, and I am designing my video editing course. It is almost done. I'm going to show you some really exciting tricks and effects that you can start using in your videos right away. Stay tuned and get ready to have some fun.
So that is going to be the basis for our entire video. We're going to fit all our video clips to fit this length right here. We're not trimming this, and we're not extending the clips. Everything's going to be right there. Right where the sound ends is where our video clips are going to end. So one thing I haven't talked about is extending these little tracks so you can see the audio track. If I want to make any of these tracks bigger to expand, I can click. See, if you hover your mouse right in between right here, you can click and drag this up or down to make these tracks larger. It makes it easier to see and adjust things. You can do the same thing with video, which I'll show you in a second too. So now what we're going to start doing is I want you to use all of these clips, all of these B-roll clips in any order that you would like. So we're going to make some rapid cuts to just have a nice, cool, interesting video clip as my voiceover talks. So you're going to use every single one of them, and our video clip is only 16 seconds, so you're going to only have about 1 to 2 seconds of each B-roll clip being shown. So let's get started on showing some of them. So what I'm going to do, let's start with this car one. I'm just going to put this car one right here. And you can see what happens is these videos are originally this way. They're the long stretched out ways, but now it has to fit my vertical one. So for each of these videos, we'll need to adjust the scale and position to see the most interesting parts of the video clip. So I can see that I have these black edges right here. I don't want to see any black edges in this sequence. So let's go to our effect controls, go to our motion, and we can adjust things like the scale. I can make the scale bigger, the get rid of that. I could adjust the position, maybe right there. So now when it plays,
Hey now.
it looks like that. But I want to keep in mind that I only want a second or two of the clip. I'm going to use all of these clips, and it's going to be way too long. This clip itself is already 8 seconds, so it needs to be trimmed down. Let's trim it down to just about a second. Right about there. And as always, move it all the way to the left so there's no black screen. Let's do another one. Let me show you a trick with some of these ones as well. Let's do this one of this guy jumping.
Hey now.
One thing you could do too as you're editing down here, so you don't hear this while you're trying to edit or you hear this weird babbling, we can temporarily mute the track by clicking this M icon right here. This M icon will mute the track. So now if it plays, I'm not hearing any audio. You could tell there's no audio playing right here. So let's do this one for a second. This one, I'm going to increase the scale so I can see it. Remember, we don't want any black edges. And obviously I have to change the position because now I can't see anything. Right there. So this one is in super slow-mo. A lot of them are in slow-mo. You can see like that. But we don't have time to watch this entire clip. We want to speed it up. So let me show you a new tool. So typically when you use your selection tool and you drag from the end of a clip, you will trim the clip. So it means you're going to cut it. So if I take this and I trim this all the way down to about right there, that means I've cut the clip. So if it plays now, it'll just end right there. So instead of cutting the clip, I do want to see the entire dunk because it looks really cool. We're going to use a new tool called the rate stretch tool. So if you look at these tools, just like in Photoshop, there's actually a lot more tools than you see here. A lot of them are just grouped together. Like this one, if you see this little tiny arrow, if you click and hold on a tiny arrow, there's actually more tools in there, just like we did in Photoshop. So if you find this one called the Ripple Edit tool, see that one right there, Ripple Edit, click and hold on that one. And if you come down, you'll see this one called the Rate Stretch tool. So this is the one we're going to use. Rate Stretch tool, or R, is the keyboard shortcut to get to this tool. So with the Rate Stretch tool, you'll see what my mouse looks like now. It has this red line through it. This only works if I drag the end of a clip. See, if I come over here, my mouse becomes available. What this does is it changes the speed of a clip. I can stretch it out or shrink it, and it doesn't trim the clip. It just makes it go faster or slower. So if I take this and I drag it all the way in to here, I didn't actually trim the clip, I just sped it up. So now it will still play the entire video, but just at a faster speed. So watch what happens when I hit play. See, like that. It just went much faster. See, it's much faster instead of being that super slow-mo. Another thing I want to do with this one is, for a lot of these as well, as we have the subject moving, I don't want him to go off screen like that. So I want to actually track his movement by using the Ken Burns effect. So we want to use the Ken Burns effect on some of these as our subject moves across the screen, since we have this vertical video. Let me go back to my selection tool. It's always good to go back to your selection tool so you don't accidentally click or cut things. So let's start with this guy for a second. I want to create keyframes for the position to move with him as he moves across the screen. So let's start right here, start on this left side, right where he is, and let's do a stopwatch for position. Again, this is exactly what we did in the Ken Burns effect. So I'm going to move it to the end of the clip, right about here, and then I need to change the position to move over right about there. So now I have my two keyframes, just like we did with Ken Burns. So now it will follow him as he moves across, like that. See how the camera moves now because I created those two keyframes. Let me show you another cool trick you can do with some of these. If you want to get a cool boomerang effect, I can make this clip so it looks like it plays backwards and forwards on its own. So in order to do that, we're going to create a copy of this clip and reverse the speed. So making a copy of the clip is actually super easy. All you need to do is hold the Alt button and drag the clip over, and that will make a copy of it. So watch, if I hold Alt on my keyboard and I drag this clip over, it makes a second copy of it. So now I have two copies of the exact same thing. So all I want to do now is take the copy, make sure they're back to back, like that. So right now I just have this clip that plays twice. See, it does it twice, just like that. But now that they're back to back with the copy, the second one, this copy, I'm going to right click, go to speed or duration right here, speed/duration. And all you need to do is check this box. This is reverse speed, and then click OK. So now this video plays backwards. So now with them back to back, it's going to create a boomerang effect. Like that. So what I want you to do is take all of these clips, put them all on the timeline, and they all need to be adjusted to where we don't see any black screen. And we only want about a second or two of each one. The most interesting parts. I like this part where this guy jumps right here. That part's cool. So you could put them in any order that you want. This is where you get to experiment and figure out what works for you as I'm talking. You may want to rearrange them. Maybe I want to take these two. Maybe this one wants to be over here, and these two I want to move that way. Maybe it looks better if I have the car and then the skateboarder and then the guy dunking. I don't know. It's up to you. But I want you to use them and have fun. Create the most engaging video you possibly can. So I'm going to start adding these right now. Okay, so once you've added all of your B-roll clips, it'll look something like this. Make sure you unmute the track so you can hear my voice again.
Hey now, Mr. McDougall here, and I am designing my video editing course. It is almost done. I'm going to show you some really exciting tricks and effects that you can start using in your videos right away. Stay tuned and get ready to have some fun.
So you can see what I did with each clip is we want to engage the audience's attention. That's why each B-roll clip is only a couple of seconds. It's really short and sweet, cutting quickly to the next one, and also using the most engaging parts of each one. So this one I used the dunk. For the football, again, right when the two teams started tackling each other. For the soccer, I tried to do it right when he kicked it. For the coffee, I tried to do it right when they poured the cream and to make the little heart. So you're trying to just find the most interesting parts. Like at this one, I did it right when the girl's eyes open. So you want the video as engaging as possible, because we're going to post this on our social media. We want the audience to stay informed and keep their eyes on it. You'll notice whenever you're looking at a screen, if it holds on a shot for too long or if it doesn't cut quick enough, we start to lose interest. So we want these nice quick cuts to keep the audience as engaged as possible. So use every single clip on here. You can use them again in any order that you'd like. Whatever order, just feel free to play around and experiment. This is an art form where you get to experiment and see what keeps you interested. So think about how you're watching the video. If you're watching it and you're bored with your own video, then your audience is going to be bored. So you want to move these things around and make it as engaging as possible to where you're interested in it as well. So once you've done that, then we will export our video, and it will export in this frame size right here. So once you're all done, you're going to export it like you normally do. Export it. Make sure that the audio is turned on. Normally we don't have audio, but you shouldn't have to change anything. Just make sure this is turned on. And we're going to export this into our social media story. Click export. And as usual, these videos are really short. This is our first time dealing with audio.
Mr. McDougall here, and I am designing my video editing course. It is almost done. I'm going to show you some really exciting tricks and effects that you can start using in your videos right away. Stay tuned and get ready to have some fun.
Awesome. That's looking great and sounding great. Let's go to our exports. Which is right. Where did I put it? Oh yeah, right here. Here it is. You can see in my sequence, it is this vertical video. So when I play it,
hey now, Mr. McDougall here, and I am designing.
It plays just like this, showing that it is a vertical video. So that means you have done it correctly. So have fun with your social media story. Create something super engaging that you'd want to post on your own social media. Have fun and let me know if you have any questions.